Right, hello if it's live. So at the same time as doing this stream, I'm watching a live stream of Hurricane Ida. Is it the one that's hitting the US at the moment in the sort of southern states? So I'm watching that at the moment, so I'll flick between that and the stream. I've got the audio on sort of low, so I can just hear the rain and the wind. But that means if anything particularly interesting happens on that stream, I can jump to it and let you know what's going on. But all right, everybody joining. Obviously that's making landfall about now. So the stream I've got on is one in New Orleans, and that's quite interesting. But I was saying the most interesting thing on it I've seen like last 30 minutes or so was like some tramp walking along, looking through the bins for some booze. But hopefully everybody's safe over there and all that. So obviously talk about what you want on this stream as long as it's not too political or anything. I'll be on for hopefully 40 minutes to an hour. Pretty tired from work, but I've probably got the energy to do a stream, and so I'm doing it at 7 p.m., not 8 p.m. What, as in with the storm, Phil? And something interesting, I'll do a video on this at some point, but Photonic Induction had one in the video, and I had to find out what they were, although he's got a different brand of one. But this is pretty interesting. It's a thing that lets you test like vacuum tubes and things like that by putting high voltage through them. Like, you know, very low ampage, high voltage sort of thing, just by pressing a button and doing that. So you can make, you know, like old tubes glow in the dark without putting them on high voltage supply. Obviously, if you do it to yourself, it's just like a little sort of burning shock. I don't know if you can see that on there. Yeah, so it just gives you, smells like burning pork. But yeah, that's what it does if you burn yourself with it. Thank you, Radam Ziegler. There's normally a couple of member streams. Yeah, roadside picnics there, because people keep asking me like, "Oh, have you seen the film of Stalker?" And it's like, even better, I've got the book. But yeah, it's only there because it's been asked about on the stream probably a couple of weeks ago, so it's there. Right, hopefully they're a good model, Lewis. Obviously, if there's a way you can privately send me the link, I won't bid on them, but I might be able to tell you what they are. Oh, and if Brightol is on, or the person with the gas mask in their picture, whatever his name is, at XMR Militaria, something like that. I was going to say that Brightol apparently had your Discord name to give me, but when I looked through all the old comments, I couldn't find it. So whether or not it's been deleted again, I don't know, because I was going to add you. I think it was this morning or last night, and I spent ages looking, couldn't find the comment with your ID on. All right, Brightol. Really? I think Poland's got a better army, hasn't it, than Belarus? So TXE Gaming, that's it, Flazzy. Yes. But yeah, I thought Brightol said he'd left a comment with his like Discord username on one of my videos, but it's not on there, unless it's just not showing up for me, because I was going to sort that out for him the other day. But yeah, I'm alright, Chris. I've been being tired from work and all that, but that's what always happens at the weekend. Let's see if I can demonstrate this on camera, actually. I don't know if it must have broken Geiger Hunter anyway, so it's not doing anything to that bit of it. I'm just wondering if there's any thing I can demonstrate with it. 1 second, I'll get a... Today, Chris, it's not as bad. I've been wearing my back support all day at work today and yesterday. So that obviously stops me doing stuff to my back at work. And my supervisor's actually been really good and just like completely banned me from doing lifting at work, you know, of anything like weighing more than a few kilos or whatever. Because I'm quite used to work scenarios when you have stuff like that, where it's basically, well, you're here and you need to do your job sort of thing. As much as that breaks health and safety, that's kind of what I'm used to. So it was actually really nice this weekend being told, like, no, we're not going to allow you to kind of hurt yourself. Yeah, Top Hat, man. It was the just the mesh strap I ordered for the what's it called? Talkmeister. But yeah, I fitted that. I think it was Thursday or Friday. And yeah, I really like having it with this strap, because obviously the nice thing with stainless steel, it won't make a chemical reaction with your skin like rubber can, although the rubber strap it came with is good. And yeah, I can just easily adjust this using that bit of it to make it fit my wrist. But I said I've adjusted it now, and it looks like the right sort of thing to go with the watch, because I like having like a full stainless steel looking watch. But Brighto, if you're on about your comments, they didn't show up for me. That's what I was saying about Brighto, let me add that now. That one's shown up for me. So let me do that now so I can get them on the server before I forget. Because as I said, I looked for that comment the other day and it just didn't show up for me. Like, I don't know if YouTube's already hidden it. But I'll add him now just so he can get on. Because like I said, I wanted to sort out from the other day, and then annoyingly when I was looking for it, I just couldn't find it. So let me add him. Right, I sent him a friend's request, so... Yeah, I saw that, Brighton. I said, doesn't Poland have a better army than Belarus? I've not seen anything about this in the news, just because all the stuff at the moment's about Biden being incompetent. But yeah, actually, to demonstrate that thing, here's a Chinese Geiger Muller tube. So if I hold this like this and get this, that should... There we go. See that? So that's what this thing does. You can test like neon tubes of it quite easily. I think I probably need to have one hand at the top when I to make the circuit, but yeah. But yeah, so saying that's what this does. It's useful for testing neon tubes. Yes, Dominic, if I had one, you'd know. I'm not going to stop saving for one. So the money goes up every month on the bunker savings amount, but the problem is I need one to be listed. There hasn't actually been any listed in the last few months, as far as I can tell anyway. Right, Mike? How was your stream the other day? Because I didn't watch any of it because I was, I went to bed quite early because work at the weekend and all that. But, so hello to everybody else joining, by the way. The comments are a bit fast at the moment for me to read and reply to all of them. But hope you didn't get too hungover or whatever. But, yeah, on Friday, if it was Friday you did the stream, I think I was in bed by 9 p.m, probably. That's been sort of 9 to 10 p.m. that for most days recently has actually been my bedtime, just because with my back I want to just lay down. But saying that, it's been surprisingly good the last couple of days, but I suppose that's because I've had the back brace on while I've been working. And like I was saying to the other people, the good thing is my supervisors basically banned me from doing any sort of lifting or bending over, which I'm not used to at jobs, because I'm used to basically being told, oh, we don't care if you've got an injury, you do your job. Well, there's always, Katie, an illegal firearms like trade anywhere in the world. It's why you shouldn't have all these laws against stuff, Oh, Grambo. That's very interesting then, Mike. Yeah. Is it still up or has it been deleted? Because I might watch it back. Because like I said, I want to be watching you as well, streaming the David Cage game with the former Ellen Page, now Elliot Page in it. But like I said, the problem is at the moment I've just been far too tired in the evening. At that sort of time of day, I just want to lay down and try and sleep. Right, let me go back to that Storm live stream a moment. So at the moment, New Orleans just looks pretty wet. There's a bit of wind, well, quite a bit of wind, because the signs are all flapping around. The bin's fallen over, the tramp picked up. Because like I said, the most exciting thing on that stream a while ago was a tramp walked past, picked up a bin that had fallen over, found like a bottle of vodka or something in it, took the bottle of vodka, balanced the bin back up, walked like 5 yards, and the wind blew the bin back over again. I've never tried proper gasoline, as in like petrol, in a Zippo. I know there's meant to be a lot of other, like things that burn like gasoline that are meant to work quite well. But when I've done very basic tests with like the more common household ones, I've never had any luck. There was somebody though that told me a really good thing that does work in basically all like oil style lighters. I can't remember what the name of the thing is, but it's like something that's like one of the main ingredients in Zippo fuel and a lot of the others, but it's much cheaper to buy in bulk, not as like, you know, a branded fuel. So you can then water it down as much as you want yourself or mix it with, you know, like other flammable materials. Yeah, I won't bother watching it tonight, Mike, but you might as well, yeah, send it me at some point. Yeah, that's the thing, Liz, because I'd imagine actual like gasoline's going to evaporate faster. I know the octane of it would make a difference. But yeah, with actual gasoline, it's probably going to, yeah, like you said, you know, cause it to evaporate faster. I'm trying to remember what the actual name of the chemical is they use in lighter fuel. Hang on a second, because I think in this room I've probably got a couple of unopened bottles of various brands of lighter fluid. So if they have an ingredients list on there, I can check that and see, you know, what's the common ingredient in all of them. And sorry if I sound a bit wheezy. I don't know why my asthma's just sort of started playing up a little bit. Like, not playing up to the point it's made me like tight-chested, but you know, I still sound a bit wheezy, like I've got dust down me. There's not really any way through YouTube, Lewis. You can DM me, unfortunately. That's the only problem. The best thing you can do if you're on YouTube is make a comment on a members-only stream. Tell me which video it's on so I can check it and then delete it straight away, if that makes sense. But yeah, annoyingly, YouTube doesn't have a DM feature even for members, because if there was, I'd just turn that on so members could DM me. But annoyingly with YouTube, it's basically you can make a public comment or you can make a members comment, and that's it. Yeah, anyway, let me just quickly check what that lighter fluid was. Yeah, I know somebody might already post in the chat. I'll be looking. Right, I thought I had a can of the Zippo stuff in here, but maybe I've used up all the Zippo stuff. So if we have a look at the this one. So this is Ronsonol light fluid, which is basically the same as Zippo one, but cheaper. Oh, another good thing of this, a bit like like turpentine, you can use it to clean your hands if you've got like really sticky stuff on your hands. And I don't mean anything dodgy when I say really sticky stuff. I mean stuff like, you know, silicone adhesive and stuff like that you literally can't wash off with water because it literally, you know, like sticks to your hand like shit on a blanket. But this stuff is really good for getting like stuff like that. It's like turp. You know, if you put turp on a rag, you can get like, essentially it works like paint stripper. But does it say what's in it? Highly flammable liquid and vapor, keep out of reach of children, may be fatal if swallowed and enter airways, causes skin irritation, may cause drowsiness or dizziness, toxic to aquatic life. Doesn't say there what's actually in it. Hydrocarbon liquid NOS, C7C9 hydrocarbons directive. Is it on this side? That's filling instructions. Other uses, excellent for the removal of oil or grease-based stains, including tar and solvent-based inks. Quickly removes adhesive labels and residues. So yeah, they say on this that you can use it to remove like glue-type stuff. But yeah, I don't know if they actually say on this then what the material is in it. I can link it here, Mike. It's because there's the big hurricane turning up in the US. So the one I had on, there's like a live cam from New Orleans. Oh, what, from the recoil chocolate muffin smacking you in the shoulder? What bore is your shotgun if you were using a shotgun? Oh, TXC Gaming, I've just sent you a Discord invite. So if you accept that, I can add you to the server because Brighto posted it for me. It's definitely getting better, TXC Gaming, although it's not always like one day it's good, one day it's, you know, better kind of thing. With my back, it sometimes seems to be, although the trend is getting better, some days I'll just have a day where it's really painful for some reason. And I'm assuming that's probably just because of the fact that some days I'll, manage to sleep more awkwardly. So it's, been put under more stress while I've been asleep. Why not, Lewis? It's up to you. Yeah. Is there much difference, Chocolate, with 12, 20, and 410 in terms of like price of the shells? Because I mean, I obviously know 12 bore is going to kick you harder than 20 bore, and 20 bore is going to kick harder than 410. But is there much difference in pricing? Just out of... Yeah, that's the thing, TXT Gaming. Accept the friends thing, and then I can send you the server one. I'll do that now if you've accepted it. That's basically the way I have to do it. Send the friends one, then send a invite to somebody. We need somebody to test that, Brighto. So you've got a picture of the Atlov. So invite to server. 1 second. Where's that gone? Invite to server. There we go. Right, that should have worked for you now. Yeah, same TXT Gaming. The annoying thing is I tried to add you the other day because Brighthole said he posted it, and I think YouTube had removed it again. You managed to post it in the stream. Oh, that's interesting. So why do they kick more Flazzy if they're actually smaller cartridges? Is it because they're like a higher, snappier sort of thing, whereas like 12 is a slower, punchier type thing? That's the only thing I could think of. Oh, so it's more down to the quality of like the shell and the combustive material, is it then, Chocolate Muffin? Ah, right. So yeah, you've got the same amount propellant behind it, but the gun is lighter, therefore that makes total sense actually. I do sometimes do streams playing games, but I never bother doing the webcam with the game because that's just a load more hassle to set up. But yeah, I will do some more game streams at some point, but it's harder to reply to questions during a game stream. I think that'd be great if they did that, Wheel of Steel, but whether or not they'll be allowed to by the sort of weak governments we have now. But the SAS would completely fucking wreck, wouldn't they? Some cunts like that. But obviously, RIP as well to all those Americans, killed while they were evacuating people by those cunts, and all the people that were killed as well, just civilians and that. But yeah, my opinion on terrorists is you don't negotiate with them, you blow them to smithereens. But I want to see what it's like. The problem is I've not seen many videos of it, but I want to see how like hard it kicks with the Soviet 23mm shotguns, whatever that is in bore. The ones where they had the anti-aircraft barrels and they converted them into shotguns. I think they're called KS-23s, aren't they? It's a dive watch. It's not a Vostok. I do have 2 Vostoks. This is a Taukmeister, where depending on who you ask, these are either brilliant watches or complete dog shit. Mine has worked flawlessly so far, so I'm more of the opinion it's very good. If I can get that to focus. So originally this is a German brand watch. Apparently most of them are manufactured in China now under license, but the machining seems pretty good. But again, it doesn't want to focus. These look really good under a UV light, by the way. That's the main thing I really like with these. So I'm just seeing, do I have a UV light handy? I've got a UV light in the other room, but obviously if I've not got one handy in here, I can't demonstrate what this looks like under UV. But the lume on this is really good. I have showed it in a stream before. But have I got a battery in this one or not? Probably not, no. Let me show you on a photo on my phone what the lume looks like on this. Yeah, let me just get this up for you 1 second. So it's basically going to be an elite special forces base that just brings hell to people that are cunts. Sounds good. I mean, it's good if we're cooperating with the Americans on this and that and some other special forces units, seeing as, you know, how badly the Biden administration did all this. Okay, so this is what the loom on it looks like in the dark. That's obviously with the phone's brightness turned up, so it shows up. But yeah, that's what the loom looks like in the dark. Again, that's probably not going to focus now, is it? But... And with the brightness set to standard, as in, like, you know, not over bright, that's what it looks like. That's what the hands look like. So again, the loom is really nice on this watch. But yeah, so yeah, it's like saying I've on watch forums, people either really like these or hate these. But I think that's the problem with a lot of forums. Because one person saying they were crap, and if people know about watches, you don't need to know much about watches, you'll know why immediately I think this person is talking bullshit. They said, this is a crap Chinese watch. You should buy a good American watch like a Rolex. An American Rolex. You know, that's the thing, you know, where with this sort of shit that you know, like where I'm thinking, I don't think this person can really be trusted on their opinion on watches. But yeah, from what I understand, these are made in China now, these watches, but all the machining is actually pretty good. So it's not, you know, like, because again, like I said before, Chinese gas masks and stuff like that, you know, ignoring the drinking tube on this one, you know, Chinese manufacturing can be really good if it's the high end stuff, not the, you know, made to the lowest common denominator type stuff. Yeah, Little Picker, that's exactly my point as well, that I don't think this person realised as well that, yes, so much stuff now is actually made in China, even if it's not, you know, a Chinese brand. Lots of stuff, they literally just export the tooling over, don't they, and just have it made in China or somewhere similar because it's lower prices. Yeah, I don't know about the movement in this one, Chris. I think the movement in this one's its own thing, but yeah, seagull movement's an actual Chinese one, isn't it? But I know as well, like when I had an Orient Mako before that broke, the Orient Mako, although it's Orient, which is owned by Seiko, all the Seiko watches are made in China, aren't they? Like very few of them are actually made in Japan, even though it's a Japanese brand. No, I've never really liked G-Shocks because I think for me, it's more if I'm spending a lot of money, I want a mechanical. Definitely better the last couple of days with the World War II collection, but I think that's also been because when I've been at work at the weekend, I've had my back brace on all the time I've been at work, and my supervisor's been really good and basically banned me from doing any lifting sort of stuff. So as soon as a job comes up where I might need to do lifting, they've gone like, Liam, you're not doing it, and they get somebody else to do it, which I wasn't expecting. Because, you know, I'm used to where if you have an injury like that at work, even if you've got a doctor's note, your manager will kind of take the attitude of, yeah, but nobody else can do it, so you're going to have to do it or get a new job. You know, that kind of attitude. So it was actually quite surprisingly nice to be told at work, no, don't hurt yourself. Somebody else will do it. Yeah, that's the thing, Chris, isn't it? Like, again, if you want a really accurate watch, you'll buy a radio set, sort of, you know, either analog or digital display, but one that sets itself via radio like every 12 hours. I suppose that makes sense, Wheeler Steel, because if I'm working, but I'm being careful when I'm working, that probably helps my back a lot. But yeah, the problem is days off work, you're going to be sat around trying to not hurt your back, but not going to be too active. But yeah, like I was saying, this evening I've come back from work and it's barely hurting at all. You know, there was a couple of points when I was getting out of my car and that, when I was a bit like, ugh. But that was it. You know, it's not been one of those days where, you know, like I've been going, oh, it really fucking hurts. Because the problem I had in the week a bit, sadly, it's not that kind of atomic watch, but yes. Yeah, the problem I've had in the week a bit is there was a couple of days, like some of the days I wanted to do streams and then didn't, were days where my back pain would suddenly flare up, I guess, from moving weirdly or whatever. It would actually make me feel physically sick, like I thought I was going to vomit, you know, because it's just like you get a sudden amount of pain and then you feel really nauseous. So this one, Martin, let me look up the exact model of it, but it's a Talkmeister. And again, like I've said, if you ask on watch forums, these are either good or shit, depending on what people think of them. But let me find out the exact model name of the one I have for you. I think the one I have might be T0256M, but it's a bit like the Vostoks, where there's loads of different like face and dial combinations. So let me link you the sort of thing. And again, it might not be this exact model, but it's this brand anyway. But like I said, so far I've been impressed with it. I've been using it underwater for work, as in sinks and, you know, in things with chemicals, and it's not damaged it. So the people are like, oh, I literally wore it in the shower and it broke. It's a shit, you know, watch. Buy an American Rolex. Those type of people, I think they're obviously just talking shit. They do quite a few different like face and dial combinations. I'd say a bit like with Vostok Amphibias. You know, like I said, from what I understand from actually reading up on it, the company is still the original German company that used to make the watches going back 80 odd years ago, but they're now made in China with licensed parts or something. But they seem to be pretty damn good for what they are, if you like chunky sort of dive watches. I know the ones you mean, M1C Austin, but no, just because of the price of them. Because, again, they're not going to be as good as a proper Geiger counter, and they're probably not as good a watch as most decent watches. So, as interesting as they look, that's kind of the reason I've never been that interested in them, because as handy as it would be to have a little Geiger counter that acts as a watch as well, you know, I wouldn't want to spend that money on something that's not really as good at either thing. I definitely would say it's worth buying a gas mask, even if you just wear it when cleaning a toilet filled with diarrhea or something like that. But in terms of what one would I recommend, I've got loads of videos recommending different masks. It depends on your budget and what's available where you are. Because the problem is with recommending masks is like month on month, supply and demand for different masks changes. So you can't really say, you know, in a year's time, if I've recommended one mask, it's always going to be the same price. Yeah, well, you'll see, like, I think it was Wednesday, the day where it made me feel really ill, my back. As in, I'd done a dog walk in the morning, and I've been quite careful in the morning not to, you know, do anything that would hurt my back. And the dogs are quite good at, you know, like not pulling and stuff like that. So that was all right. I think I was back for an hour or two, and then all of a sudden, yeah, even I was being careful, I just felt nauseous, and it was just really painful. But, you know, this weekend it's been absolutely fine. You know, it's been a bit achy now and again, but not to the point where it's, you know, actually made me go, oh, it really hurts, or it's making me feel sick. But yeah, that's the thing, TXC Gaming, with Geiger counters and that is, I know this isn't technically a Geiger counter, but stuff like this is generally just way better in terms of like price per performance, you know, compared to and again, I know it's some of the same companies that make those watches, but just, I'm assuming based on the sensor technology in them for the size they've got, they're not going to be as sensitive or, you know, as high a range. And again, if you just wanted a wristwatch that would warn you if you're encountering radiation, that would be great. But again, it's not going to be as good a wristwatch as like a good modern digital one or something like this. Nor is it going to be as sensitive to radiation or something like this. So again, it's your choice, you know, if somebody wants one. But, you know, if a company sends me one for free to review, I could be brutally honest about how good it is and test it compared to real Geiger counters and stuff like that. But, you know, for me, I can't justify buying something like that. You know, I could use the money for something else. Yeah, Leah Picker. I've got an old Seiko Kinetic. I've got a really nice one, but the problem with my one is it's a much more of a dress watch than it is like you know, a dive watch. It's not as good waterproofing on it as some of the other Seikos, and it's also not a very good dial in terms of it's got no lume on it. You know, it's just kind of a stainless steel sort of dial, where I think it's a black. It's either a black or a dark blue back face, and then I think it's just like, you know, a line for every hour on it. So it's one of those ones where if you're looking at it inside, it's perfectly easy to read. If you're anywhere where it's dim lighting, you can't read it. And again, like you said, it winds up absolutely fine if you're just moving your wrist about. So I found if I was working, it was a fine watch for keeping it self-charged. But yeah, the problem with Kinetics, if I do like Kinetics. Again, it kept time really well because it's more like a quartz movement, isn't it? With like an analog sort of charging system. But yeah, I literally made one the other day, Puffin. Did you not see it? There was a video on Friday, 2 days ago, of this mask. Yeah, I mean, I can actually do a calibrated cesium-137 test with any of these sort of Geigers because I've got a proper cesium-137 source and I know exactly how strong it is. But yeah, like I said, the problem ends up being is that, yeah, for most people, you're going to have to spend a load of money on check sources as well, aren't you, to take an accurate reading? As in a military one, Martin, I've got my old granddad's German World War II watch, and again, long story how he got that, but he traded for it in about 1946 before he went back to the UK, and that's when he's rehoused and restrapped several times, and it doesn't keep time at all well anymore. And I wouldn't wear it because it's radium, but I still own it. I think there's a video on it on my channel. And I've got some Vostoks, which, you know, are military watches, but I don't have like any modern like American British type ones, no. All right, Rich. I'll have a look, Will. But like I said, a lot of this stuff I don't want to spend too much money on. You know, I'll have one or two working watches as much as I like watches, but they're not something I can really justify the money on. So it's one of the things like when one breaks, I'll then justify buying another and then having, you know, one or two as spares. But again, it also depends on the pricing, doesn't it, of what they are. Again, looking at some of theirs, if they're about 150 to 200 pounds, they're not all that bad at all, are they, price wise? But yeah, I quite like the Victorinox watches. Saying that, although I've never owned one. That's annoying, bots. What is it? Somebody that's either really messy or really loud or what? But I know from friends that have done like house sharing for university, that's like one of the things, or just like house sharing because of cheaper rent. That's one of the things that can like really annoy you if you end up living with somebody that's like a complete pig, you know, in terms of leaving like dirty shit everywhere or, you know, just not being considerate. We are still, if it's the one I've got a video on, then yes, although bear in mind mine's broken. And I'd need to both get replacement straps for it, which is actually pretty easy, but there's actually damage to the lens on it, so it leaks air. So I can't really do a proper review of it. I quite like the MCU2P, other than the fact that, you know, it's discolors easily. Yeah, I won't be on too much longer, as said, just because annoyingly, although it's not, I don't think my asthma's playing up tonight. I'm feeling a bit wheezy, which is, where I'm talking. I don't know if you can hear it. You can, you definitely can if I do that. Do that. Right, I won't do that again to demonstrate it. I was going to say you definitely could if I do that, like take a deep breath. It sounds like, 50 a day smoker. I reckon some dust has just got down me recently. I started streaming and I reckon I must have taken some dust down my throat. But yeah, that's the thing, bots. I know people have moved in together because they used to be friends, and by the time they move out, they hate each other just because they're all right people, I suppose, if you're not living with them. But yeah, one of my friends had nightmare stories from their old roommates where they'd literally leave half-eaten food behind furniture and it would start rotting. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? Because they were saying to me oh, you're messy and you have clutter everywhere, but you don't leave rotting shit around. I was like, no, that goes in the bin. But this was somebody that didn't have many hobbies, but the stuff they'd leave around was snotty tissues and rotting food. So it was literally, one of those people where they'd come home every day and they'd have left half-eaten food on loads of surfaces, snotty tissues all around the house, unwashed clothes in piles around the house, and all that sort of shit. And I think it just drove them fucking mad in the end because of the fact they had to keep cleaning it up because the roommate wouldn't do it. And I think they were even saying it was making it hard to find new people for renting the property because if ever there was a house viewing, people would look at the house and be like, no, just because of how much shit there was cluttered about. But yeah, like I said, there's never anything in this house that's half-eaten food anywhere or snotty tissues. There's military surplus clutter and that here, but that doesn't rot and go off. It's just I suppose the only thing I can say like that is some of the old Soviet rubberized NBC suits I don't store in the house. I store them in the outside lockbox just because they stink a bit. But that's not for any reason to do with germs. It's just because of the weird rubber used. But yeah, but yeah, it's just the idea. I just find that disgusting. That you eat a bit of food and then decide you're done with it and just chuck it behind you like that. But yeah, mine doesn't have a glass back litter picker, but I've had a few that have a glass back. I'm trying to remember actually if my Seiko Kinetic had a glass back. Hang on a second. If that Seiko's in this room, I can show it you. But I don't know if it is. I'm trying to remember which box it would be in. Now, I found the box for it, but I don't currently have it in its box. So, there you go. But yeah, I do have a Seiko Kinetic somewhere. But like I said, it's one of those ones where I've probably got it in a drawer somewhere. Because, it's a genuinely quite a good watch. It's just the fact that, what makes it not all that useful as an everyday watch is there's no loom on it and stuff like that. And it's not very water resistant, and I need a water resistant watch. I don't need it to the actual diving depths of a dive watch, but I definitely need ones at work that, I can put my hand in a sink or something like that and not risk the watch breaking because of the water resistance being crap. The person asking me to stop saying the F word, although I didn't think I'd done it recently, can fuck off. There you go. Don't you come on here and tell me how to speak, boy. I think every job I've done as well has always been with people that swear like sailors. They're not doing it as to be dicks to other people, swearing at people. It's just frustration from work. It's that sort of, oh, for fuck's sake, oh, shit, that kind of, constant sort of attitude like that. This is a Christian server, don't swear. That's the one I find really funny. I'm sure a load of you know what I'm on about. It's if you're playing some games on PC like this won't apply to consoles because you don't really get private servers on consoles, do you? But it's like the thing where you'll be playing an 18 like rated game, you know, where the NPCs and that when you're playing on the multiplayer are constantly like, oh fucking shit, man, you know, oh fuck shit. There's like, you know, like those Call of Duty sort of games and Battlefield. And so the NPCs are constantly swearing, and some of these games don't even have an option to turn this on and off in the options. Then somebody types like shit in the chat, and then they get banned because it's like, this is a Christian server, no swearing. It's like, what? This is an 18+ game where like the characters swear non-stop. There's a thing like that, Bright I do like in Legend, where Tom Hardy says something like, don't you swear among like the don't you swear in front of a lady, you cunt, or something like that, he says. That's quite funny. But yeah, it's just that sort of thing, isn't it? It's very strange when somebody comes onto something that's not made for children or whatever, and then gets really upset about somebody swearing. But yeah, so I don't swear in front of children. You know, I actually genuinely feel bad if I forget and I swear in front of a child. Because again, it's not something you do. But it's like when you're talking to adults, and then you go, oh shit, you know, because you dropped something and somebody makes a fuss about it. It's like, no, fuck off. One of the things I wanted to see, Austin, that was really funny, I can't remember what game it was, but either the developer published a list of all the banned words in the chat, or like somebody figured out, you know, like how to look in the game files and find all like the banned words for, you know, the chat censor. And there was like loads of cool insults that nobody had even thought of before, but you know, they were in like the chat censor list. So it was stuff like cock baron, dick lord, stuff like that. It's like I'd never have thought of these words, but well done. There's like a massive, you know, chat list of all of these banned words for the game. It's like, this is a good insult reference list. Yeah, there's lots of stuff like that, but I just don't get. Like, it would make a lot more sense for all this stuff if it was just done like, you know, film age ratings. Like, I know in America it's like what restricted and stuff like that, but in the UK it's like 12, 15, 18, stuff like that. The idea is that unless it's actually a pornographic film, an 18 is fine, even if there's like sex scenes in the film, because it's R18, isn't it, for like an actual porn? But nobody really has those on DVDs anymore. But the point is that, you know, if you've got like a genuine actual you know, film, it's like you could have no sex in it and it could be really violent and get an 18, or it could have quite a lot of sex scenes in it but no violence and also get an 18, or whatever, you know, or a mix of various things. And sometimes there's weird things where you get something that's quite explicit and has a low age rating, or vice versa, depending on like how bad the film censors were. But it just seems weird that like video game stuff like Twitch isn't like that. So it's like you can swear constantly, have as much gore as possible, like minor bit of video game nudity, nope, banned, or whatever. Was that Mike except for you? I don't even know much about Among Us. It's some like game, isn't it, where like somebody's a killer or something, a bit like Trouble in Terrorist Town or something. Oh, right, Mike. Sorry, yeah, you still own R18 DVDs. Oh, I know you would, but you know what I mean. I'm saying it's not like a common thing anymore, is it? Like, because I remember sometimes you'd get like a poster in like a library or like a shop that has all the age ratings. You have the blue R18, you know, actual sex scenes, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, I've never really played Among Us. But saying that, I did find a funny site once that was called something like Christian Game Reviews, and like I said, I don't have anything against Christians. I'm technically Christian myself, but I don't take religion very seriously because it's a good way to not get on with people. But it was the idea that they rated these video games on how Christian or unchristian they were, not on like what the content of the game was. Right, let me click on that Gandhi's flip-flops and I'll edit the URL so I can watch it when I end the stream. Because the problem is YouTube does this thing now where But yeah, right, I've got that up. So Guru Osho describes the word fuck. Right, I'll watch that after this stream. The rain looks pretty heavy and the wind looks pretty bad in New Orleans at the moment. But yeah, I just find the idea funny that like how Christian something is or whatever is based on some very, very arbitrary sort of bullshit like that, where it's like horror games are very unchristian. But I suppose if there's sex before marriage and those people get killed, then they are very Christian, because thou shalt not sin. But to buy, it's just the issue of that. Yes, sadly, I mean, for what they are quite cheap when they turn up a lot of the time, unless they come with loads of land. But yeah, it's just the fact that so many people, when they actually bought the land, when the MOD got rid of them, just like, oh, I've got this nuclear bunker on my land, better fucking trash it. Like, again, I can have some sympathy if it's the people that bought the land, wanted to build on it, had all the planning permission, and then the bunker's in the way that they'd actually have to fill it in with concrete or something. I can get that. It's just the idea when somebody buys land, does nothing with it, but still trashes it because I don't want a fucking nuclear bunker. SOX O1M, if SOX still make them from SOX website. The only thing of the O1M is it's a pretty limited radiation range. I'm assuming something went wrong with the stream there, because somebody else said my stream's frozen. Yeah, so Mike says you just have to manually refresh. I'll be off in a few minutes anyway. That's a very good price for it, Graham, actually. My mum has 2 of those Trend Stealth masks. And they're pretty good, aren't they? Especially if it's got the filters included. It's the one that looks just sort of like a roundish shape with the P3 filters. I'm assuming either some trolls are on or it's been recommended to some prudes. But as I said, we will use the language we want to use. It's not racist language we're using in this stream, so it's not really actually offensive. You're taking offense on purpose, good sir. When you say gas mask anomaly from games, do you mean gas masks that are modelled wrong and that in games? Because if so, it's got to be there's a plug in the filter on the mask. Because like nearly every fucking developer does that when there's a gas mask in a game. There's always the fucking plug in the filter. I guess it's because they looked at a photo of like an unissued gas mask and they're like, all right, just put that in the game. You can find them on eBay pretty easily, and in terms of cost, if they're the actual World War II ones, probably £30 to £50. The best person to ask about light anti-gas respirators will be Baroque for days when he's on, because he's really, really, really into his light anti-gas respirators. And at some point, when he gets the time, he's sending me a massive dump of info so I can do a video that loads of people hopefully watch about some of the technical stuff on them. But, like stuff I cannot be bothered to research myself, but he's quite happy to apparently send me an info dump. But, like on how certain models vary from other models, because there's like, 20 or 30 different models of them. Because that the weird thing with like light anti-gas respirator is I think most people are probably familiar with only a couple of the different models of them because they're the most mass produced, but it turns out there's a massive list of them. Mine has Russian and English menu on it, but again. Anyway, I'll probably head off now because, like I said, my throat's been a bit again, so maybe I've got the coofs. Although I did a lateral flow test the other day and that said I was fine. But they always say I'm fine the lateral flow test, so who knows? I say that somebody at work was coughing a lot. I think it was yesterday. And they're like, oh, don't worry, I don't have corona. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, it's not my cough that the reason I'm going off. Like, it's my back that's the more annoying thing. The cough's just come about, I reckon, because I got a bit of dust down me as I've started talking a lot. But yeah, I don't think I've got the Koofs mic. I think it's probably just like a bit of dust's got down me as I've been talking, and that's done it. But yeah, at least my back's been quite good relatively the last couple of days. It's woken me up a couple of times in the night, like every night recently. But that's only like a minor thing, because that's just a bit frustrating in the morning if you've not really had enough sleep. But it's far worse, to be honest, my back, if you get a really painful bit where it flares in the day, and then you're like, oh, I feel sick, don't want to do anything, just want to lay down in the dark. You will not be on Twitch later, right, Mike? I'm probably gonna have an early night again tonight anyway, just because of the fact I've been working all weekend. Like, so I've done about 18 to 20 hours in the last 2 days. I hope your migraine clears off. Migraines are horrible. Yeah, just lay down in the dark room, I'd say, if you get a migraine. That's the only thing that helps me when I have my painkillers. But yeah, anyway, so I'll be off. Hopefully I'll get some videos done this week, assuming my back doesn't play up enough that I can actually do videos I want to do. Because the problem is, like, when my back's playing up, I don't want to lean over to do, videos where I'm having to, put the camcorder like that and film something on the floor. Could be could be wheel of steel, but I think it's probably more likely I've moved something about earlier in the room. Some dust has kicked up. I've not noticed that dust has got down me and given me a froggy throat. But anyway, have a good evening, everybody. And there should be a couple of videos up this week when I get a chance to do them. Have a good evening.